7 o'clock, deep in the belly of the CBS Broadcast Center in New York, the videotape room becomes the center of activity. It is here that sporting events from around the world are viewed and edited, while the components of this diverse tape package are timed by Brent Musburger and John McDonough.
Dissolve black, up on 2, cue.
Phyllis talks about Roselle, and we get into the interview.
5 seconds. 6, 5, 4, black, 3, 2, black, up on VT track.
It is Throwback Week here at CBS, and we are so excited to get you ready for the action on Sunday. And to do so, we bring in the female OG NFL analyst for CBS. Lesley Visser is in the house joining us. Lesley, I asked you before your 3 things that you're most proud of in your career, and you told me the first woman to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the first woman to earn a Lifetime Emmy achievement from the Sports Emmys, but also being a mentor to so many women in this industry. So welcome to CBS. Welcome. How are you feeling? What does that take you back to when you watch the film?
First, Haley, I'm so thrilled to be here. I watch you guys all the time, like people say to you over at Publix, but I'm so happy to be here. And yes, that footage really takes me back. My first NFL Today was in 1990 when it was Greg Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw. And Terry was like such a star then that we all used to go to Elaine's. That was that swanky club in New York. And it'd be like movie stars coming over. Oh, Terry Bradshaw, Terry Bradshaw. But, you know, it's a foundational show to the history of the NFL. As you know, CBS, we're recreating the set. Brent's going to come back. And Brent and I always got along great because I'm an old newspaper guy and so was Brent. But it was really an honor to be on that show.
Obviously, so much has changed, right? Year in and year out, we're seeing changes. But for you, such a pioneer for so many of us in this industry, how important was that for you to be the first woman, insert sporting event here, to do it? How important was that for you?
Do you know, I looked at it like, I believe I'm an authentic role model. I had covered every sport for the Boston Globe for 10 years. I just didn't know the mechanics of television, but I knew what I was saying, that I knew how to say it and how to report it. But I am so thrilled. When I started, they had no ladies' rooms because there were no other women.
Oh my goodness.
So I know, it was nuts. So I mean, I'm thrilled at all these women. Even today here, I have met more women than men, which I just love. So that's been really rewarding, I think.
The women here at CBS Sports HQ hold down the fort. We keep those boys in line every single day. Speaking of the boys, kind of peel back the curtain a little bit because 3 different stints with CBS and NFL Today. Talk about the cast of characters that you got to interact with over the years.
Oh, gosh. Everyone from Jerry Glanville was on, the old Falcon coach, who actually, you know, he was the first person to coach both Deion and Brett Favre. They were Falcons then. So he was selling this power gum, I remember, and we all had to take it. And I have no idea what was in it. I'm sure it wasn't cleared by the FDA. And it's like Randy Cross, our eyes would be going like this before we went on the air. But it was just like you have a family here. I remember a wonderful story about Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka was on it for a while, and we would go to a place called Jilly's in New York. It was a bar that Frank Sinatra's best friend had owned, and Mike knew all the people. And I remember we were walking after we got off the set in New York, and we were going to have dinner and a beer, and an unfortunate homeless man saw Mike, and he yelled out, "Mike Ditka, what's the greatest nation on earth?" And Mike said, I don't know, sir, United Nations? And the guy went, "No, man, a donation."
That's great.
It's so great. And Mike gave him $100. No, it was just great. So, you know, everybody, they were people. I mean, they were stars and icons to a lot of people, but like most people, they were just guys.
They were just guys, and you got the opportunity to work with them up close and personal. I know this is kind of a hard question before we kind of push things to 2025, but is there a moment, a memory that you sort of hold on to where throughout that career you were like, man, I'm really doing it, I'm achieving my dreams, and this is what I wanted to accomplish?
Oh, thanks for asking that. It was in 1992. I'm still the only woman ever to present the Lombardi Trophy. And at Ted Shaker at the production meeting, you know, you have 1 million people at a production meeting, and Ted Shaker said, okay, now let's go to the post game, and we're going to have Lesley Visser handle the trophy presentation. And I have to tell you, Greg Gumbel was sitting there, Brent was sitting there, Terry Bradshaw was sitting there. We all, myself included, our mouths fell open. But I am where I am because of the opportunities.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just got a little starstruck there listening to your stories. It is so important to have that type of role model for everybody, not just for women, but for young men as well, to have a North Star working towards too. And so as we kind of push things forward in 2025, I mentioned things have changed, right? The NFL, the rule changes happen, so and so forth. I want to ask you about the Tush push, Lesley, because obviously there has been a lot of conversations this week about the Tush push. Should it be banned? Should it not be banned? What do you think? And how much has football changed since I guess we've honed in on this Tush push?
You know, it's a great question because it's actually a cultural flashpoint right now, I think, the game changing. And two of the teams who don't want it are the Rams and the Packers, who are two teams that Philadelphia might meet, right, when rubber hits the road in the NFC Championship. But I think it requires certain things. Like one element it requires is a quarterback of great strength, which Jalen Hurts has. You know, as I think you were mentioning before, he can squat 600 pounds. And that's part of why it works for them. And also they have that trench warfare, that massive offensive line. But I think you have to stop it. Like, people used to talk about the shift in baseball. Well, then stop the hitter. And I'm of that school. And I know you mentioned before, you're right about the defense, that they made rules where the defense can't, impede on their side of it. But I do think it's really just a quarterback sneak with some muscle behind it.
You got to find a way to stop it. The people who are complaining are the ones that can't get the stop there.
Exactly. You know what's interesting is the Bills, I think, voted against it, and Josh Allen is built for the tush push.
I don't know how much Josh Allen squats, but maybe we can look into that and we can compare.
That'll be your next report.
That'll be my next report out in Buffalo. Obviously, the throwback carries over to the teams in the NFL as well. We've got some teams wearing throwback uniforms this week: the Bucs, the Patriots, and the Jaguars. We've got some throwback. There they are up on the screen. So here is what some of those guys are wearing. I lean, Lesley, towards the creamsicle, the Bucs, just because it's classic, it's iconic. But of these three, which ones kind of jump out to you?
Yeah, I love the creamsicle also. They probably haven't worn that since the days of Doug Williams. And of course, there's the Patriot. Now, when I covered the Patriots, it was Pat the Patriot on the helmet, which is kind of iconic there. And it's sort of funny to see Brett Favre in a Minnesota uniform.
Yeah,
you had it over here, a jersey. I covered his last game there, and it was very odd to see him number 4.
We've got some jerseys that we're gonna bring over. Actually, Matt, will you bring the entire? Will you push the entire card? This is the awesome Matt Jackson.
Well, you can wear any color, but I don't know if this is.
Thank you.
We loved Mike Allstott.
We did love Allstott. I love this jersey. We've got an entire rack of throwback jerseys here. So Lesley, what I want you to do is maybe
I'll take an Aikman.
Yeah, let's start with Troy Aikman. Just kind of pick a couple. Tell us what comes to mind when you see these jerseys, and we're starting, of course, with America's team, Mr. Troy Aikman.
Well, I had a wonderful moment with Troy. I covered all those games of the 90s, and my class that went into the Hall of Fame, where, thank you for mentioning, I was the first woman, the class was, get this, Troy Aikman, Reggie White, Warren Moon, John Madden, and myself.
Wow.
And Troy actually mentioned me in his speech, and of course I almost fainted. I was in the audience then, and he just looked at me and he winked. But those teams, as you know, you were a Cowboy girl and you worked there.
I was a Cowboy girl. They give me a heart attack literally every single week. But Troy Aikman, lovely guy. I've had the chance to talk to him and interview him a couple of times. He really is special. I think we also, you mentioned Brett Favre. I know we have a Brett Favre jersey on here as well. But you mentioned it. It's a Vikings jersey. What do you remember about Brett Favre, the Viking?
Well, remember, it was at the end of his career. He was upset because, of course, Aaron Rodgers was coming on. And Brett got his nose out of joint, and he went to the Vikings, which were the hated rivals, like when Johnny Damon went from the Red Sox to the Yankees. And he had a really bad game. It started okay, and then he just threw wildly. And then didn't he wear 4 with the Jets too? Remember, he had a half an hour with the Jets?
A half an hour, that's a perfect way to describe it. I want to say we have one more that you pointed out. Was it the creamsicle? Was it the Bucks jersey?
Good hands with Allstott. But any one of those, or who's your Patriot one?
We've also, the Patriot, I believe, was Teddy Bruschi.
Oh,
Is that who it was?
That's a great one. Oh, yeah. See, now you're talking. Now you're talking Super Bowls. Not in my childhood, but now. So, yeah, we love Teddy Bruschi. That was great.
We also have a Jets one on here, but I'm told that you're not interested in looking at the Jets jersey.
Well, I just think the Jets, I mean, they have to stop talking about Joe Namath. Like, that was in the 1800s.
Here he is, Joe Namath,
the
original number 12.
Of course, like, this is the only one. Now, that's funny, but no, I can't be seen holding it.
Give it back, give it back.
I just think, I don't know what's wrong. I have high hopes for Aaron Glenn, but this past game just didn't show it. And I don't know if there's something wrong with the culture there, but it's not the water. I lived in New York for a lot of the water's great. So.
Just got to figure out the football. Lesley, before we let you go, I want to keep it in 2025. Obviously, it's week 3, so it's still very early. Early Super Bowl contenders. Who do you think takes it at the end of the year?
Well, this weekend is really interesting because it's Matt Stafford against Jalen Hurts, and I think we're going to know a lot more after those two play. But there's no reason that Kansas City doesn't seem to be. Do they seem to you they're just not the same team?
They're just not
now?
the same. Their offense is no good. We had Pete Prisco and Lige Douzable on earlier, and it just seems like things are not clicking until they can get that offense going on all cylinders.
Yeah, and I do think that Joe Burrow, I don't know what happened there. You know, that's going to be tough. So I think you have to say, well, the Eagles, until you knock them off, I mean, they're great on both sides of the ball. Plus, I think the Tush Push has a 95%.
It is
whatever.
very successful.
Remember last year, though, that crazy game against the Commanders when, I can't remember the linebacker's name, but he kept trying to stop it and he jumped early and it resulted in 3 flags and then somebody went off sides and 4 flags. And I think Hockley was the referee, and he finally said, if you do it again, I'm going to give the Eagles a touchdown.
Like I said, you got to find ways to stop it, even if it is illegal. Lesley, this has been so much fun. We so appreciate your time and also what you've been able to do in this industry for women like us who are trying to get to where you are.
Oh, for you too, and Haley, really, you're a treasure.
Thank you.
Keeping an eye on you.
Oh, look at that. We're also keeping an eye on the NFL today. This Sunday, I mentioned it. Everyone loves a little throwback. September 21st, marks the 50th anniversary of the show on CBS. We'll have a vintage edition. Lesley mentioned it earlier. The set is going to look like the 1975 set. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you tune in 12 o'clock Eastern this Sunday.